It's literally every day that a new Pokemon game is released, and because of that, they always tend to come out rushed. With the exception of Pokemon Legends Arceus, in recent years, Pokemon has been a chronic offender to the eyes of consumers around the world. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are no different. However, one thing that can be said about SV is that, unlike Pokemon Knife and Bottle Cap, Let's Get the Hell Out of Here Pikachu and Eevee, and Be Ugly Diamond and Colored Pearl, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet have ambition. The kind of ambition that we've wanted out of traditional titles for a long time now. And because of that, it's safe to say that there's a really fun game in there somewhere. So what if I told you the longer you play, the more you get to interact with that game? Now, I'm not here to bore you with the usual "this game runs like my mom on crack" lines, or even talk about the slew of glitches you're probably already seeing right now because of my lazy editing, but I am here to say that even though those things are in the game, you eventually look right past them. Or, in the case of glitches, laugh hysterically because honestly, most of them are hilarious. Obviously, I'd prefer if this game wasn't held together with dried semen, but I just had the most fun play session yesterday, and it's largely thanks to the ambition of this game. Game Freak has arguably crafted a game that keeps most of its fun missions and gameplay experiences towards the middle and end of the journey. Even the music, which I felt was overly repetitive and bland, gets a complete overhaul on the top half of the map and is so much better. The locations, the new Pokemon, the insanely muscular women, all even better up there. That's not to say everything in the beginning is a total dud, but that's when you're grappling most with the question of, is this game really worth the massive migraine with this choppy frame rate? If you're such a person who asked that question and said no, well, I'm telling you, yes. Just keep going, champ. There's some serious creativity to be found here. Let's take the region for example. This may be the best region in Pokemon games ever so far. Where in the past there was always a trade-off of diversity and aesthetic versus interesting traversal layout, Scarlet and Violet strikes the best balance in mainline Pokemon thus far. Not only are the towns really cool to look at, as well as varied based on location and terrain, but they each feel satisfying to navigate through. This includes discovering them as well. It's always a pleasure to stumble upon an unexpected town or city because even the open world routes of Paldea are sprawling and begging to be explored. Then there's the story. Now, I haven't finished the game yet, and I've heard from many sources and friends that I'm in for a real treat. But even from what I've played so far, there's been some really cool setups and even some really touching moments that made me tear up a bit. There's a great sense of mystery behind entire characters and plot points, such as the region's professor. And can we please talk about Pokemon Picnic? Talk about living the dream. I mean, I'm constantly shocked at how seamless it is to open this baby up, and it's especially satisfying when you find a gorgeous location to just play ball and wash your Pokemon in. Sure, you can't picnic in the cities and towns, but you can still have your lead Pokemon out with you. And let me tell you, the follow mechanic is done insanely well this time around, to the point that Pokemon even follow beside you, not behind you. Something I've been saying they should do all along, and now they finally are. I get to feel as close to my Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet as I did in Pokemon Legends, where we're working as a team together just like in the anime and manga. And that's what the spirit of Pokemon is all about, working together. With these latest installments by Game Freak, that vision, that childhood yearning has finally been reached. So much so that we even have an amazing co-op mode that doesn't slow the game any more than it already has slowed itself. Sure, we could do without the ugly mishmash art style, 2 frames a second gameplay, Nintendo 64 graphics, needless lines of dialogue and loading in battles, lack of customization, myriad of glitches, and... wait, what was I saying again? Hey everyone, johtojonny here. Continue watching with my early impressions video of Scarlet and Violet, and if you even love the channel enough, consider supporting me on Patreon, as that's the absolute best way to. All the links are on the screen now. Enjoy!